Some nonsense. Yo, what's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. Are we Tuesday or Wednesday? Look, man, hopefully you guys are having a extraordinary month of October. And hopefully you guys are closing in this fourth quarter of the year with excellence, man, and fulfilling those promises that you had in the beginning of the year. Look, man, there's a lot going on. I mean, not so much going on, right? It's the same old rhetoric. We're still waiting for Bivol versus Beterbiev. In that aspect, possibly the time has arrived for that fight. You know, there's new developments between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Devin Haney, you know, is using civil suits to finally get, reparations. So that's a win for the culture. Jaime Munguia had a very entertaining fight versus Eric Bazinian. Look, man, life is great if you're a boxing fan. David Benavidez versus David Morrell. Looks like the stars are lining up, man. So there's a lot of good things going on in the sport of boxing, and, well, we'll see where that continues to go. But, yeah, man, so let's first talk about Bivol versus Beterbiev. You know, my expectations, I would say Bivol should win. I think he should be the favorite. He's younger. He's been much healthier, right? And he's active. He had a fight like 3 months ago. And Beterbiev coming off injury, surgery, year of inactivity, and getting older. Well, we've seen this story being told so many times. Bivol should have the upper hand. It's quite simple. I think Artur is overall the better fighter. He's got the much better resume at 175, but the reality is he's fighting only one time a year, and I think it might catch up to him against Bivol. Bivol is a very basic fighter, straight up and down, 1-2, step back, 2-3, 1-2, jab, jab, cross. I mean, it's great. But one of the beauties about Dmitry Bivol, besides his volume, besides his mental focus, I don't want to just downplay that importance, but he's very sharp defensively. Every time that he's bouncing in and out like Mikey Garcia, taking a back step with the 2-3, coming back in with the 1-2, look at his hands. He's always feinting with his hands, and they're always coming back up to his face. He'll stop. There's a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a stutter, and then he'll explode all over again. But he's always cognizant of the return fire. Now, it's very difficult, right, to be paying attention to that when you feel like you have your opponent hurt and he's still grinding it. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I love about Dmitry Bivol. And that's one of the things that I liked about Mikey Garcia, because Mikey and Bivol, they fight very similar to one another. But yeah, man, I'm extremely excited for this fight. I want to ask a question. When is the last time that you saw two Russians fight one another? They happen to be and land on pay-per-view. It's not quite often, right? At least in recent memory, I don't think, when was the last time that actually occurred where two Russians are headlining a pay-per-view. So that's fantastic. The times and the tides have changed. I'm excited for this fight, man. I do have my criticisms. Let me just bitch and complain, because that's what I do, right? Turki Al-Sheikh. So this man has an agenda, like most promoters, like most people investing into their own product and their own company. They have an agenda. So my question is he interested in building stars? That's logical. I'm sure most of them are. Or are you interested in giving us the best possible fights with the best possible fighters, with possibly the best possible theater, right? We want drama, big drama show. And if the last one, if that's his agenda, if that's his priority, then why aren't you giving Artur Beterbiev, the knockout artist, the unified undefeated champion, a tune-up before fighting Bivol? Bivol got a tune-up. Why doesn't Arturo get a tune-up in between? Because if you're trying to get the best possible fight, the bang for your money, you want Archer to have a tune-up to sharpen his tools, to see what his punch tolerance looks like, and see if he's well recovered from that surgery and the injury that he obtained. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of logical. We know that Bivol is Turki Al-Sheikh's guy. We know that. We know that he's interested in pretty much anything, against Canelo Alvarez. Bivol beat Canelo, right? So he's looking to just bank on that momentum, right? Because Canelo and a few other stars don't want to play ball with Turki Al-Sheikh for whatever reasons. Like Tim Tszyu says, we don't have to sell our soul, kiss the ring. I love Tim Tszyu, man. But yeah, man, I'm just saying, if you want the best possible fight, you would give Artur, the undefeated knockout artist and unified champion, a tune-up in between to sharpen his tools and to remind the world once again why he's undefeated and why he's one of the most feared punchers in today's sport of boxing. They did a great promo, by the way. They had like this whole Game of Thrones, Jon Snow cloak and momentum, and they're preparing for the big war, right? Winter's coming, and that was an amazing promo. I will give Turki Al-Sheikh props and his company, because when they go all about building their promos and fight momentum, they got some really good storytellers. Well, visual effects, and they're putting up the money. I can't necessarily say they're great storytellers because, they're copying other made work, right? When they have the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, that's already precedent. There's already a film about that. So they're not like reinventing the wheel necessarily, but nevertheless, it's amazing promos. I love it. I love what they're doing. And hopefully, his passion that he has towards the sport of boxing, I hope his visions don't get corrupted. I guess that's a nice way that I can put it. It's almost a backhanded compliment, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, man, be that as it may, I would love to see Arturo Beterbiev get a tune-up in between. I think he's earned that right. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen fighters that are coming off layoffs and immediately just jump right into the best possible matchup and come out successful? You don't really see that, right? Even Terrence Bud Crawford coming off the shellacking that he put on my boy Errol Spence. He had a year of inactivity, and he went up another division, and he went to fight the 154-pounder, Israel Madrimov. He looked a little rusty, but he still looked very good, especially at 154. His speed, his timing was there, and obviously Madrimov turned out to be a formidable opponent, and I thought he won, or at least a draw, because he was a champion. But that be that as it may, that is Terrence Bud Crawford, that is Turki Al-Sheikh's guy. Anyway, man, I'm gonna save that topic until Speed and Drew hop on. Hopefully they do hop on, but right now I don't see them. I know they're running a couple of errands. Try to keep it brief. Devin Haney sues Ryan Garcia. I don't know how to feel about that. On one aspect, depending on how the civil courts and the system goes about, this might just revolutionize the sport of boxing. Once again, the government might just get involved. That is huge. You know what I'm saying? That has huge ramifications. If Devin Haney sues Ryan Garcia and in court wins litigation, this is going to set a precedent forward that if you pop dirty in the sport of boxing, if you take steroids, you will get fined. You will get suspended for an X amount of time. Hell, you might even go to jail if you try to conspire against the well-being of another person intentionally, okay? The unlawful use of drug use, right? And if Devin were to win that, and he has a case, guys, he has a case. You see, Devin isn't trying to prove fans wrong that he got his ass beat. What he's saying is that he unlawfully got his ass beat. That Ryan was not playing by proper and equal rights. This is huge, guys. This is huge. I'm not saying that this is like some Brown versus Board of Education, but as far as sports goes, sports and drug use, especially in the sport of boxing where it's not typically enforced, right? I'm very intrigued about this scenario. I'm extremely intrigued about this scenario, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened quite often, and more so. This is huge, guys, huge. I can't stress the importance. Like, let's say, so Devin sues Ryan Garcia, right? And the court system did, and they decide, right, that Ryan is guilty. He's gonna have to pay a fine. He's gonna have to pay out of his own money until he continues to remain an active fighter. He's going to enroll in the most stringent drug testing agency that he can afford. Like, this sets a great precedent for the sport of boxing if Devin were to be successful in winning his lawsuit against Ryan Garcia. I don't think it's cowardly at all, right? Not at all, man. It's strange given the context, given how Devin cries about it, but it's true, man. It's true. He deserves, like, Ryan deserves to get punished, even more so. Whatever punishment that he received right now against the New York State Athletic Commission, that's a slap on the wrist. But if Devin, depending on what the justice system decides to serve Ryan Garcia, he will have to pay for, I don't know, 10 years of drug testing. A true definition of a clean boxing program, right? Because, again, the sport of boxing, the government has been involved, right? In the past. Recent memory, they were looking and going after the IBF, and Daryl People was in that sanctioning body. Then there was a situation with the Muhammad Ali Act, how a manager can be the promoter, vice versa, matchmaker. Like, there has to be, basically like a 3-power system, right? That's supposed to check and balance one another. If Devin were to be successful suing Ryan Garcia, this might just reinforce a universal drug use program for all boxers. Everybody will have to be playing by the fair system of taking VADA testing, USADA testing, WADA. It don't really matter. That's actually a step forward into this hellacious sport of boxing, right? Where it's one of the last sports remaining where defense is actually allowed. Hard-hitting blows, knockout artists where people are spazzing him and being concussed, right? You rarely see that in football. They suspend fighters. They take a lot of a hefty paycheck out of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's huge. On that same topic, there's a boxing video game called Undisputed. I think Canelo's on the cover of it. And that they made a conscious decision to ban Ryan Garcia from being able to be as a playable character. And in a weird way, I'm not a fan of censorship, right? But however, Ryan is a disgusting human being, quite despicable, right? I'm not saying you can't be rude. I'm not saying you can't talk your shit. But if you're going to choose to be ignorant, you got to pay the consequences. If you choose to be a fraud, you got to pay the consequences. If you're going to cheat, you're going to fail that test. You have to pay the consequences. Again, this lawsuit, I'm extremely looking forward to it. Hopefully, a lot of the details are reviewed to open public. And honestly, I hope Netflix decides to record this because this is monumental. I can't stress this enough. It's huge. Guys like Sugar Shane Mosley cheated against Oscar De La Hoya with designer drugs. Victor Conte back in 2003. Same thing with Roy Jones Jr. Same thing with James Toney. These guys have all got caught, busted with drugs. You know what I'm saying? And even more so, a lot of fighters are currently on it. It's not like, man, I'm surprised that a lot of fighters in the past have not sued these fighters for such things. Now, Bob Arum and, this is supposed to be a gentleman's sport. So when I shake your hand and we salute one another and we tip our hat off to each other, be like, hey, bro, we going to make money together. We going to knock each other out. May the best man win. That's a gentleman's sport. But when you start cheating me, when you start to commit fraud, man, I want you tried and punished for sure. It's going to be very interesting, man, for sure. I'm extremely excited. Look, man, Jaime Munguia, man, he should go back to Freddie Roach. You have to, bro, you were only getting better with Freddie Roach. You go back to Erik Morales, and you a mediocre boxer, bro. You mediocre. Like, go back to Freddie Roach where you were actually gaining cognizance of, like, defense, right? You're being mindful of the return fire. You're getting better. Your punch combination, your punch selection is better. You go with Erik Morales, everything that you worked with Freddie goes out the fucking window. If Jaime really wants to be great, and I think he potentially could be, right? In the sense that he can become a unified champion and have great accomplishments, right? Then Jaime must go back to Freddie Roach. Again, David Benavidez should go train with Freddie Roach. Ryan Garcia should go train with Freddie Roach. These offensive juggernauts that throw a lot of punches, that are fast and strong, your defense is your offense. And the best offensive-minded coach in today's day and age in the sport of boxing is Freddie Roach. If you want to take your career serious, you go to Freddie Roach. No one is going to motivate you more. There's no Teddy Atlas, we are firemen, conversations and diatribes and soliloquies in the corner that is going to inspire you, like watching Parkinson's and the fight that Freddie Roach is going through for like the past 30 years. Nothing is going to reinvigorate the fighting spirit when the chips are all down and you're huffing and puffing in the 12th round. Seeing Freddie Roach stumble those words and giving you, the last second adjustment to win that fucking fight. No words can motivate you in comparison to the presence of Freddie Roach being there in your corner. Even with a language barrier, Freddie Roach will get you through that finish line. So those three fighters, again, I will continue to repeat the same rhetoric. Bro, you got to go with them. Got to go with Freddie. What I really wanted to talk about, though, yeah, bro. What I really want to talk about, you guys ain't going to believe it. And you guys are going to call me crazy. But the four guys on the thumbnail, Gennady Golovkin, Vasily Lomachenko, Artur Beterbiev, and Dmitry Bivol. One of the things that they have in common is that, in my opinion, they can accomplish or should have accomplished way more in their boxing career. And I don't think I'm being unfair when I say that. Those four guys on that thumbnail, the one thing, in my opinion, that they have in common is that they could and should have accomplished much more than what they have in their boxing career. Gennady Golovkin, as touted and durable that we know that he is, should have accomplished much more in this, especially at middleweight. The first time that he was actually in a real good fight was against Danny Jacobs. He looked human. When he was knocking guys out like David Lemieux, Curtis Stevens, and bashing guys like Gabe Rosado, he looked infallible, a fucking force. When he fights Danny Jacobs, he finally looks human. Pedestrian. Decent fighter. Doesn't look like an all-time great. Abel Sanchez told us that he could have gone down to 154 to 168. Didn't do it until way late in his career when he got a Canelo fight once again. Triple G should have accomplished much more in his boxing career, professional career. For a guy that's never been knocked down or knocked out in his life, should have went balls to the wall with Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez. In the first fight, I thought he beat Canelo, but he played it cautiously like Canelo did. The second fight, I can't even say nothing. That was an amazing fight. I love that fight. I still watch it to this day with my dad. It's a badass fight. In the third fight, come on, bro. You kidding me? Lomachenko. I wish Warp Speed was here because this is his guy. So I'm going to talk my shit before he comes on stage. You guys know the spirit here, man. Lomachenko. I mean, soft. Bro, this dude could not knock out Devin Haney. He could not beat pillow-fisted Devin Haney. Now, I thought Lomachenko did beat him, but I'm saying it was a close fight, and I'll go one step further. You should have knocked Devin Haney out. Bro, you couldn't even hurt him, bro. Maybe wobbled him once, couldn't drop him. Come on, man. Look what Ryan Garcia did. You know, the guy that's running in the forest and conspiring against everybody in the whole world, going in divorce. Ryan was able to land one punch in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Lomachenko, this two-time gold medalist, 396-win amateur, three-time divisional champ, couldn't knock out Devin Haney? Forget about beating him, bro. You couldn't knock him down. Lomachenko is a big-ass disappointment. And he ducked Mikey Garcia. Everybody sees the tape. You were like, man, you big, Mikey. You too big. Mikey was like, bro, I'm not that big. Lomachenko only beat on small dudes. Couldn't even beat Orlando Salido, bro. Lomachenko should have accomplished much more. Couldn't even beat Teofimo Lopez, bro. You spotted him 6-7 rounds. Just fucking running. Crazy, bro. Crazy. As for Artur and Bivol, one-time division champions. Bivol didn't fight Oleg Vostik, right? He didn't fight Alexander Vostik. He didn't fight Adonis Stevenson, Andre Ward. He didn't fight Sergey Kovalev. He didn't fight none of those dudes. He fought the Joe Schmoes at 168. And his only credible best win is against Canelo Alvarez, moving up 5 or 6 weight divisions. As for Artur Beterbiev, 2 good fighters on his resume. Just 2 good fighters on his resume. Marcus Brown, maybe. And then Alexander Vostik. I'll give him Vostik. Again, these guys that are amazing amateurs, they sure love to settle in one weight class. I guess I'm not being unfair, man. I'm cutting it straight down, you know, no filler. It's just what it is. That's just how I see it. Those 4 guys on the thumbnail should have accomplished much more in their sport. That's all I got to say. As tough as they are, as skillful and strong as they are, bro, they don't even come close to Canelo Alvarez's or Manny Pacquiao's shadow. Juan Manuel Marquez. As I wait for these 2 dudes to arrive, man, I'm going to talk a little bit about football. Hey. Oh, actually, man, if you guys are here, use Homie Ricky 101 on your GameStop next purchase. You get 2% off, especially if you're getting Silent Hill 2. It just dropped today. You get it at your local GameStop store, gaming store, you know, trading card collecting store, whatever the case may be. Silent Hill 2. Use promo code Homie Ricky 101. You know, get the tax write-off right there, but look, man. Hold on, let me see if I got audio up in this. Where are these dudes at, man? I don't think I'm just call it short. I think I pretty much said everything that I needed to say. But hey, man, I'm gonna keep it short. A little icing on the cake. Just get back in flow and rhythm, and then I'll probably hop on later night, either another night or later on tonight with Speed and Drew. See if they want to chop it up and add their take, because I'm sure they're gonna get a little. It's gonna get a little wild. I'm out.